If you think that the only reason you keep procrastinating is that you're lazy, you're wrong. Think about it. You can spend 2 hours organizing and tidying your desk when you should be working. You can make perfect plans and to-do lists over and over again. And you can scroll on your phone the entire day, which can be quite tiring. So you're not lazy. You are avoiding something specific. Hi, I'm Paolo. I make videos about developing the mindset, the confidence, and the habits that will help you build the life you want. I've procrastinated my whole life. And yeah, maybe when I was younger, you could say I was genuinely lazy. I spent all my days playing video games, never exercising, and always avoiding homework. But then in my early 20s, something changed. I decided I wanted to build an online business or at least make money online, so I created a blog. From then on, I wasn't lazy anymore. I was always busy. I was planning content, researching keywords, and designing my website. Basically, I was working on my blog almost every single day. But in my first 6 years or so, I barely published anything. Something like 20 blog posts in total. Also, I would frequently start a blog, work on it for a few months, then get demoralized, then quit completely for some time, and then restart again with a new website under a new domain name and with a better approach. So I was doing things, just not the most important ones, because I was scared. I was terrified of putting myself out there, of being judged by my readers, and of being rejected by other bloggers that I might have reached out to. And that's the main reason most of us procrastinate. Not laziness, but fear. So, what is it that we are afraid of? For me, it came down to three things. First, fear of failure. Like I said, I used to start blogs, abandon them, and start new ones again, over and over. Why? Well, because as long as I was starting over, I wasn't quitting or failing. I was just, I don't know, preparing to succeed magnificently later. But as I finally understood after having wasted most of my 20s, my real failure was not failing enough, because it meant I wasn't trying to win enough. Then there's fear of success. Yeah, this one sounds really weird at first, but it's more common than you think. At the time, I was really afraid that if I succeeded, I would have to put myself out there even more. I would have to engage with my readers, with their comments, and hire people to help me run the business, and also deal with the bureaucracy that comes with making money. But if I kept failing instead, I wouldn't have to change anything. Sure, it would have sucked, but at least I was used to it. I could just keep doing what I was already doing or not doing and never get out of my comfort zone. And then, of course, there's the good old fear of judgment. Every time I was about to hit publish, my mind would immediately come up with bad scenarios. Like, what if people laugh? What if they think I'm arrogant for giving them advice? What if I embarrass myself? I wish I was joking, but seriously, it was easier for me to waste those 7 years like that than for me to face the risk of someone reading my work and thinking it was terrible. Or even worse, of someone I knew find it and judge me for even trying something so weird. Of course, now I know that those fears only feel rational in the moment. Because your brain is always trying to protect you, so if it senses that you are feeling distressed or in danger, it will try to protect you. It will do its job. It just so happens that many times when our brains protect us, they protect us from the very thing that we actually need to do. So, how do you know if the main reason you procrastinate is fear and not laziness or lack of focus? Well, see if you can relate to any of these three signs. 1. You stay busy doing productive looking tasks. Remember at the start when I mentioned spending hours tidying your desk or creating new plans and to-do lists? Yeah, that's because procrastination often doesn't look obvious. It's not always just scrolling on your phone or binge watching TV. Many times it looks just like work. So right now you might be actually working really hard. You might be doing things that are related to your goals, just not the ones that will move the needle the most. Basically, you might be doing something like what I was doing when I was always designing my blog and researching the perfect content strategy. 2. You're always planning and preparing, but never starting. This one is pretty obvious, nothing much to say. Just this. If you've been preparing for weeks or even months, you're not preparing anymore. You are just stalling. 3. You feel anxious and overwhelmed just thinking about the task. This is the big tell. When there's a task that you know is really important, but that you've been procrastinating for quite some time, there's this sense of dread lurking around. And the closer you get to actually doing the task, the stronger the feeling becomes. So you delay action again until you are more prepared, except that you never feel completely ready. Because the sense of anxiety you feel has almost nothing to do with time and preparation. It's fear of doing the task itself. So, what can you do about this type of procrastination? Well, there's the usual stuff, like gain clarity about your goals and build some confidence, both of which I already made videos about. But right now, let me just share one thing that worked surprisingly well when I had no self-confidence and was procrastinating so much that I used to waste more time in a single day than I do now in a week or even two. I'm talking about starting before thinking. What I mean is, when you see or remember a task you need to do, don't give yourself time to think about starting. Just move your body and begin immediately, like a robot that's been given that specific task. I know that sounds too simple, but it actually works. Because for a procrastinator's brain, even a single moment of hesitation is more than enough for it to come up with all sorts of doubts, like, maybe this isn't the task I should be doing right now, maybe there's something more important, maybe I should do this later. So you prevent it completely. You see the task on your to-do list, you stand up or sit down, and you start without thinking. It's the same type of approach that I used when I started this channel. If I saw on my to-do list or my calendar that today is recording day, then I would just sit down and press record. I knew that if I didn't act like that, I would end up wasting hours writing and rewriting the script, trying to make it perfect, and I wouldn't get anything recorded. Because I knew that my problem wasn't that I was lazy, but that I was a little scared. So, in conclusion, if you struggle with getting started, stop trying to get started and instead just start without thinking about getting started. Thanks for watching. I hope you now see why you really procrastinate and what you can do to start dealing with it. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye.